Hi everybody. So today we're going to do the unboxing of my brand new Behringer X32 Rack mixer. This is the box I just received from Amazon. Who else? And here is the official opening of this machine that I actually chose with a lot of thoughts in it. Here is the monster. I guess there's a box in a box, like usual. So there we go. Oh, so we can already see that the box has been damaged. Not good. Not a good sign. Oh my god. Not good at all. I can put my finger literally through the carton. Okay, we'll see. Oh my god, and I can touch buttons right here in front with my finger. That ain't good. Okay, so let's put this box on top here and take it from here. Alright, this is very strange because the original box, the shipping box, did not have any damage on. So I'm wondering, was that box already damaged from before? Anyway, we'll see. Let's open the thing. Open the box in order to keep it as intact as possible. There we go. Let's take the camera and show you guys. So here we get, I guess, the instructions manual, X32 Rack. The instruction manual is pretty thin. I'm a bit surprised to see such a thin manual for such a powerful machine. Anyway. Probably the rest of it is going to be found online. And here's the machine properly wrapped. Let's take it out. Okay, here it is, and here it is. So there's not much inside the box besides those little very thin foams. There's the power supply. And this is it, the box is empty. Now, let's remember that the damage on the box was facing the front of the machine, right here. Okay. It's a pretty straightforward wrapping, there's not much to it. Hey, we're not an Apple or anything like this here. I always like to keep the packaging undamaged when I open the machine, just in case I have to send it back. I might want to sell the machine in a few months or years. The buyer always likes to find the original packaging in these machines. It's always good if you want to move, if you want to sell, if you want to put away, whatever. So here we have that beautiful machine. We have to keep in mind this is a mixer. Of course, it's not your standard idea of a mixer. Here it is, X32 Rack Behringer. Okay, all the buttons seem very nice. The construction of the machine seems good. Here's some controls. We'll go over these controls, if anything, but I just want to get the feeling of these buttons for now. See, and they all feel very very solid, very well built actually. Okay, this is very good. They all seem to be running nicely. This one is a little tight. Monitor level, track level, that's very nice. Okay, I like the feeling of these things. Well, there doesn't seem to be any damage. Here are the ears for the rack mount. They come already installed, and this is the back of the machine with all the ins and outs. So we got here the 16 inputs, which all come in XLR. And really, this is not very versatile. I would have rather loved to have these combo inputs with combo XLR or quarter-inch, so that you can put whichever input you happen to have. It's much more practical depending, on the gear you have to plug in. Anyway, that being said, it's all balanced, all XLRs, 16 ins. Then you have 8 outs, again XLRs. Then you have all the auxiliary inputs and outputs. And there seem to be 5 of each, and in a quarter-inch format. And then there's this little tricky thing here that shows that in reality there's 6 auxiliaries, 4 of which are quarter-inch. Then the 5th is either or quarter-inch or RCA, and the 6th is also either quarter-inch or RCA. So that's why they put that thing in here like this. It's a little confusing. Anyway, it's once you know it, it's no big deal. Then you got a monitor, left and right, balanced or unbalanced. You have a mic, a talkback mic, which is nice to have. And then you have all these interfaces. That's basically to interface the machine with the rest of the world. So you have the AES 550 A and B. This is to connect to an S16 or another X32 or any other machine that will interface with the AES 50. Then you have the Ultranet connector, which is basically a Cat5 connector. I'm not sure of these little things here. I'm pretty new to the machine. Anyway, MIDI in, MIDI out, if you want to connect any MIDI gear in here. And Ethernet port to be able to control your machine through your iPhone or pad or whatever. And then you got your USB interface. That would be to get all your music all the way to your computer. I'm still waiting for the other machine that I ordered from Amazon, which is the S16, the Behringer S16. S16 is a snake. It's a 16-in digital snake that can connect to the back of this machine to bring another 16 inputs of audio. I should receive this machine in about 3-4 days from now, so that will be another video. Let's connect the thing. Choosing the rack format is a pretty big change for me, considering my old conception of mixing. I'm coming from analog mixing, so up to now I only own a 32 channel Mackie analog mixer, so you can see where I'm coming from. So coming from an analog 32 channel mixer with faders and everything, going to this kind of machine is a pretty big move. And I was considering buying the Fader X32, which is the complete console with how many was it, 16 16 faders and all the studs and everything. And I asked myself the question if buying the rack version wouldn't be a better choice, considering the reality of my studio. And basically I ended up buying the rack version. First of all, it's much less money. Second of all, nowadays most of the mixing is done within the computer. We rarely mix with faders anymore, and even if we do with faders, it's usually all automated anyway. So the use of faders, of real faders in a console is, you know, it's still useful for some people, but you know, basically most mixes are done within the computer, within the software mixer. Also, my reality is that most of my use is going to be, it's in a fixed studio. I don't do any gigs, I don't do any shows. All I do is we play in my studio here, in my home studio at home. So basically it's the same group of musicians playing every week. You know, the studio is not moving, it's the same instruments, it's the same people playing. So there will be really very little changes to the mix from one session to the other. So you have to understand there's a cost to all these faders, and if you don't really use them, you might as well just put your money somewhere else. So that's what made me really decide to get the rack version instead. And hey, we'll see what it brings us to. But in the meantime, I feel that I'm doing some progress. I'm becoming a modern musician. So here we are. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.